Hello, I'm Karen Gauthier, and welcome to this segment of the 2014-15 Nemertes Enterprise Technology Benchmark Key Findings, featuring John Burke, CIO, Principal Research Analyst, and we'll be discussing cloud. So John, tell me, are a majority of organizations already using cloud?
Yes, in fact they are. And what's really interesting is if you ask a lot of them, they'll say no. But if you then dig in on what they are doing out there, it turns out that they are. What we find is that right now, 97+% of the companies that we talk to are using software as a service, irrefutably a cloud service that's being provided to them. If you'd asked them if they were using cloud 5 years ago and they were using SaaS, they would have said, yes, I'm using cloud, I'm using this Salesforce or something SaaS application that's being provided to me. But now they've become so comfortable with SaaS, they don't think of it as special, and they still think of cloud as special. So 97% using SaaS, so without a question, everybody's using cloud. What they tend to think of now when you ask them are they using cloud is infrastructure as a service or platform as a service. Infrastructure as a service is where you're running virtual machines in the cloud for yourself. My virtual machines, my servers, but running on top of Amazon's hardware or Google's hardware. Platform as a service, where I'm running an application on top of somebody else's middleware. So my .NET application running in Microsoft's Azure cloud on top of their application servers. And there we see much lower adoption. We see just over 50% of companies this year either using or planning on using infrastructure as a service, and a little over 40% using or planning on using platform as a service. So we really have gotten into a situation where the majority of companies do use cloud, and they're increasing their commitment to it over time.
So how about security and organizations that have concern using cloud because of security?
Certainly, and they should have concerns. They should always, though, walk into it with their eyes open about how secure their existing infrastructure is and how strong their own risk controls are in their data center environments, and understanding whether their cloud providers can actually do as well as or better than them. If they're very intent on physical security, your typical cloud provider will have not just a locked door, but oftentimes multiple layers of locked doors in between street access to their building and access to their actual physical infrastructure. They'll have what are called man traps that you have to, provide verification of your identity before you can get through the inside door on that. And if you can't, then you're stuck in there until you can prove who you are, and they'll let you back out. And they'll have cameras and people monitoring them 24/7. They'll often have multi-factor authentication on their physical infrastructure. You'll have to provide a thumbprint or a retina scan or something to get through the last layer of security and into the infrastructure. So keeping in mind that these providers are generally leaning very heavily on things like that level of security in their own infrastructures, you have to look at yours and say, am I doing better? And that's an important consideration whenever you're looking at this. But then there's also just the fact that you need to mind the data and protect the information that you're putting into cloud services, because even if you're feeling okay that their physical security is better than yours, you still have to be mindful of the fact that most system compromises don't happen because of physical access to a server. They happen through online access. And so you have to be paying attention to, am I encrypting the data that's going back and forth between my systems and the systems that are up in the cloud? And about 75-77% of the folks that we talk to are doing that now. They're expanding the number of systems that they're encrypting data in motion for as well. And then you have to look at whether the data is encrypted when it's sitting on the virtualized systems up in the cloud, wherever that is. And a little over half, but less than 60%, 55-56% are encrypting the data that's at rest in their providers' clouds as well now. We also see that use expanding as time goes on. So on the whole, if you pay equal attention to the security of data and to the physical security of the assets, we're seeing folks do the risk management and risk mitigation evaluations of their own capabilities versus what's in the cloud, and saying, yeah, I think I can lean on that provider's implementation of these things and feel confident of that. They're saying that much more often and starting to really push work that they care about out into the cloud.
So what's next? What should folks be doing next?
Well, given the incredibly broad adoption of SaaS, they should be focusing some attention on not reinventing the wheel there in the bad way of reinventing all the flaws and problems that they created for themselves back in the 90s when they had lots of separate silos of enterprise applications that didn't interact with each other and that developed silos of data as well that they then spent a significant amount of the 2000s sorting out, integrating, and cleaning up the data conflicts that were created as a result of the separation of systems. They should be looking now at integrating their SaaS systems with their internal systems and with each other. So that's one of the really big things they should be doing. We see a fair number of folks doing that now, but more need to. Likewise, they need to be paying attention to, again, a security aspect of using the cloud, and that is authentication. And they shouldn't be forcing their users to have 6, 7, 8 online identities, one for each major SaaS provider that they work with. They should be extending their single sign-on solutions to provide access to their SaaS applications as well. This will both make their users happier because they only have one username and password to remember and improve their security. So that's really one of the next big things they should be focusing on in the cloud.
Thank you, John. And thank you for watching. For more information on this and other technology topics, please visit us at nemertes.com.